There's no typical day for me. I am a GA reporter. I cover technology and telecom companies in Houston, of which there are only a few, and a lot of smaller startups. But as a GA, I get thrown into whatever maybe is the news of the day, or an assignment that I've been given midweek to turn for the weekend about a local company that doesn't fall on somebody else's beat, or a trend or something we're seeing related to the economic meltdown, or any number of things. So I don't really have a real typical day. I guess I'd usually start out by checking for filings on some of the companies that I do cover regularly and that sort of thing. But there's really not a typical day, I guess. The first place I usually go is LexisNexis and our archive, and I'll just see what the company's been in the news for recently. If I have time, I'll try and look at their last quarterly report or their last annual report and get an idea of what issues they've been facing. Most of the companies, even if they don't fall on somebody else's beat for oil or transportation or something, they're still large enough companies that you generally know enough about them, or what industry they're in, and how they what challenges their industry maybe is facing. So generally just seeing what's been written about them and trying to get an idea of the context of what they're going through. There's so much less that's available to you. You can't just get their line item budgets. You can't get their payroll beyond a few executives. You can't get their purchasing history down to to minute details. There's so much more that's available when you're covering government. But there are tools you can use in business that you're not going to get all the way there, but you can tell a lot by some of the numbers that they have to file with the government. And I've been obviously learning a lot more this week about there's a lot more buried there than you might realize, and there's a lot more you can tell than I had realized before. But you kind of get frustrated because you have to rely a lot on what the company will tell you, or maybe what an analyst will tell you, but they're not always that forthcoming either. Sometimes talking to competition is really insightful. Sometimes they might not talk on the record, but they won't mind necessarily dishing on the competitor a little bit. That's been a pretty useful tool. In Houston, the big deal is oil and what's going to happen to oil prices. I'll be dealing a lot with I don't cover the oil companies directly, but some of the fallout and what it does to the local economy. We've been lucky relative to the rest of the country because that oil economy has sheltered us. We didn't have a big housing bubble, so we haven't had a big crash there. We haven't had a large number of layoffs, but the experts seem to think those things are coming. So I'll be looking for companies that are in trouble, looking for companies that are laying people off. Some of the dominoes falling and how that impacts other local businesses that do that work with those companies, or just rely on the general health of the local economy, real estate, that sort of thing.